Hello guys, welcome back to another video. And guys, in the last video we saw how we can represent our neural network in the form of matrices so that we can perform better mathematical operations on them, or we can easily perform mathematical operations. So in this video I'm gonna give you a quick look or a quick difference between these two, the batch gradient descent and stochastic gradient descent. So let me just explain very simple things because uh, the formulas that we have derived until now is used for this, and now we have to use batch gradient descent. So for that we have to make some changes in our formulas. Okay, the formula will be same, but we have to take care of the shape. So let's see what is the difference between stochastic and batch gradient descent. So guys, how do we perform back propagation? Basically what we do is, let's suppose we have a neural network like this. Okay, so what we do is we give our input to this part, then we get our output. Then what we do is we compare this output to the original output. Okay, so this is the original output, and we compare our output to the original output. So and find the loss. After finding the loss, we back propagate that loss to hidden layer up to the first layer. Okay, so until now what we were doing is that we were giving only one example, and on the basis of that example we what we were doing is we were finding the gradients. We were finding the gradient on the basis of only one example, and then what we were doing is like w is equal to w minus n into delta of w. This delta w is nothing but it is the gradient of it is the gradient that we are discussing here. So we are finding the gradient on the basis of one example, and then we are updating our original values. Okay, but now what we want to do, basically this is stochastic gradient descent, but now what we want to do is we want to take, let's suppose we have 500 examples in our data set. So we want to take those 500 examples, and on the basis of that we want to like take the average of 500 of these. So let me just repeat myself. Let's suppose now we have 500 examples in our data set. So what we want to do is we want to find the gradient of these 500 examples and then take an average of this. Okay, like we will take an average of this, and then we will put it here to update our values, because as our data set have 500 values, so it would be very useful to update the weights on the basis of 500 on the basis of those 500 values. Like if you remember my linear regression series, then in which I told you how we can use gradient descent and how gradient descent works basically. So let's suppose we have only one example, so it is possible that we will move from here to here with just one example. But as we have 500 examples, so we will take the general idea. So let's suppose if we took only one example and it will come down here. According to us it is a good thing, but according to our data it is not a good thing, because if we take the average of all the examples, then our loss would just come down to here, to this point. So this is why we want to take the average of all the 500 values while updating this, and this is called as batch gradient descent. Now there are many cases, or there are sometimes we do not have enough memory, so in that case we use stochastic gradient descent, and there are also many benefits other than this to use stochastic gradient descent. But in this video I just want to keep it to our problem. I will make another video in which I will explain everything in great detail. So one more thing that let me tell you, that we also have something that we call as mini batch gradient descent. So in that mini batch gradient descent, let's suppose we have 500 examples. So what we do is we take let's suppose we take 100 example, then we take 100 example, and similarly we will do this 5 times. So we will have 100 examples, and we will find the gradient of these 100 examples, take an average of that, and then we will update our weights. So this is called as mini batch gradient descent. So as I told you that in our case, what we have done until now is that we have used stochastic gradient descent, but now we are going to make some changes so that we can use batch gradient descent. It means that we will be able to update our weights on the basis of the whole data set. So in the next video I will show you how we can represent our neural network so that we can use batch gradient descent. So thank you so much for watching this video guys, and I'll see you next time.